I'm Cassie Stear.
I'm Carissa Stear.
I'm Gabbie Brewer.
We are from Girl Scout Troop 361 of the Park North State Line Service Unit, and today we're making vegetable stuffed rolled roast in order to show the importance of supporting local farming and local farmers markets.
We got our vegetables and spices from Angelic Organics.
We have free-range pork and beef with no antibiotics or hormones.
This is Stevie Wonder. This is our mascot cow. She had brain damage when she was born. She was born on a dairy farm, and she wasn't going to work out for being a milk cow. So the farmer gave him to me, and we were just going to feed her out and make her into hamburger. And she got to be such a good cow, and she has good calves every year. So we keep her around. She's blind in one eye. That's why she walks in circles. That's our mascot cow, Stevie Wonder.
What motivated you to start all of this?
Well, when we moved out here, we moved out from the city. We lived in the city, right in downtown Rockford is where we lived. And we moved out here, just wanted to live in the country. And I didn't have any ideas about farming. All I wanted to do was be in the country. And we lived out here for a couple of years, and we had all this land back here. And it was overgrown. There was trees and brush and everything. It was a mess. And we started cleaning it up little by little. And then after it was cleaned up, I thought, we should get some animals. So we started with goats. And that was all just for fun. They were pets, basically, that we showed at the 4-H fair at Boone County. Well, then I started thinking, you're buying feed. You're paying money to raise these animals. We should start raising something where we could get some input back from them. So that's when we started raising beef cattle. We've had beef cattle for 10 years. And we have a herd right now. We have 9 cows, 9 black cows, and then Stevie Wonder, our mascot cow. And we have 2 bulls. We have a young bull and an older bull for breeding the cows. And you can see right now they're eating quality alfalfa hay. That's what we feed the cows. And then after the cows have their calves in the spring, they stay with their mothers for the summer. And in the fall, they're weaned from their mother, and they're put in a separate area down here. And we feed those corn and oats is what we feed.
Is this your main source of income? Or?
No, I work construction to support my farming habit. So right now, basically, is what we're starting the herd of goats. But the beef cattle, you're not going to make $1 million. You're not going to get rich. But they do support themselves, and there is a little profit in the beef industry. The prices right now are as high as they've ever been for beef cattle. Meat market as high as it's ever been, so it's pretty good. It probably cost us $500 to take a calf from newborn to finished, and that's about a 15-month time period.
So, with every cow you get, do you make them into meat except for?
No, actually, we keep back. We have calves, and a heifer calf is a female, and a bull calf is a male. All the bull calves go into the feedlot for meat, and the heifers that we keep back, we look at them and we make sure they look like they're going to be a good animal, they're going to be a good mother, they're going to have a good udder. We'll keep those back to increase the herd. Right now, I believe, like I said, we have 9 cows, and we'd like to get our herd up to like 15 cows. So we'll keep back a couple heifers every year from now until we have 15 cows in the herd.
How does it support the environment?
Well, that's a tough question. We do everything here the old-fashioned way. We have manure piles that we collect out of the feedlots, out of the stalls, and we pile it up and we make compost out of it. So it breaks down and turns into beautiful black dirt. That's one way we're helping the environment.
And how is it a better life for the animals?
Well, you can see our cows. They're happy cows. They're out in pasture all the time. They're never confined. They're out in the pasture in the summertime when this is green grass. They're eating green grass along with their hay. And we do sneak these cows a bucket of corn every day. We give them a little treat. We give them a bucket of corn. And they really like that. And one of the main reasons I think this industry, this small farm industry, is going to do so well is because people want to know where their meat's coming from. And anybody that buys meat from me tells me it's the best they've ever had. because that's how we feed them. We feed them as soon as these calves are weaned and go into the lot in the fall. They're on corn and oats. They don't get any antibiotics. They don't get any growth hormones. It's all natural. I can't say we're organic because we're not certified organic, and we never will be because we just don't have the facilities and the land and the places to grow corn that would be organic that you'd feed them. So our product is all natural.
This is Farmer Jim, and those are his cows, and he doesn't give them any antibiotics or growth hormones or chemicals or anything.
Okay.
Happy cows. Happy cows are healthy cows.
We got these parsnips from Angelic Organic Farms, which is a farm a mile from my house. We could have gone to Walmart or Aldi's or Dollar General, which are all about 5 minutes from my house, but instead we chose to support local farming as well as purchase food that was healthy. Here with Chris Voss, who is the growing manager at Angelic Organic Farms. Chris, what would you say is your philosophy on locally grown organic food versus food purchased from a supermarket that is not organically grown?
I think that there's quite a few differences in stuff that you eat that's locally grown and organically produced versus some of the food that you're going to get in the grocery store that's maybe conventionally grown. Both are food, which is good. Food is good for you. But in terms of freshness, in terms of taste, in terms of nutrition, both in what you get from the food, but also in the environment and in the soil, locally, organically grown food tends to top the conventional grown food. So the more that people can support their local farms and buy food that isn't trucked from California or from Florida, the more that they can create a flourishing farm community around their area by supporting those farms, the better off they are and the better off the environment and land is. So I guess that would be the philosophy.
So how long has Angelic Organics been around, and what is it that you grow here?
So this farm is owned by John Peterson. His family has farmed in this land since the 1950s. But back then it was, it is a long time. Back then it was conventional farming, but they also had a fair amount of livestock here. The farm has been a CSA, or Community Supported Agriculture Farm, and farmed organically since 1991. We've been off and on with being certified organic. We are certified organic now. But so you could say for 23 years we've been a CSA, an organic CSA. In terms of what we grow here, we grow over 50 different types of vegetables. So the vast majority of vegetables that you can think of we grow. And within those 50 different crops, we grow 200 different varieties, which we distribute to our CSA shareholders. So throughout the course of a 20-week season, they get a pretty broad selection of vegetables that hopefully they like.
So what is it that motivated you to work here?
So I've been at the farm for about 5 years. It's coming up on my 5th season this next season. And prior to working here, I had no farming experience whatsoever. The only farming experience that I could really say is my grandparents had a dairy farm up in Wisconsin. So I'd gardened, but that was about it. I was working 7 years ago. I was working for a Fortune 500 company, managing a bunch of people, and making, to be honest, making really, really good money. I have 2 daughters of my own. One's actually your age, and I make a point of telling them that it's important that whatever they do, wherever they are, that they leave the place better than where they found it. It doesn't matter if they're at their grandparents' house, it doesn't matter if they're staying over at a friend's house, if it's the world, to leave it better than you found it. And I didn't feel like I was doing that in the job that I had. Yes, I was making good money, but I wasn't making the world a better place. And so I took about 1.5 years off and tried to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I enjoyed being outside. I enjoyed growing things and nurturing things, and so that's kind of what brought me to Angelic Organics. I had a friend who worked at the Learning Center and called her up and said, "Hey, I think I kind of want to farm. Am I crazy? I mean, I'm almost 40 years old now." She said, "No, and I think Angelic Organics is hiring some people." So called them up and started working here with the farm team, doing general farm labor for the first season, which was grueling but really, really, really rewarding. You know, there's something that feels very special and feels very fulfilling about growing food for people, about making something that nourishes them, hopefully more than just physically, you know? And so after that first season, John and I sat down and he said, "You know, you seem like you've got a background that you could be doing more than just kind of doing the farm labor. What do you think about running a farm team?" And I said, "Well, I don't know that I really know what I would be doing running a farm team, but I was willing to give it a shot." And he and I kind of had this working relationship, and that's kind of how it went. I stumbled along the way for a lot for the first year or two, but like anything, it's practice makes perfect. Haven't regretted one day of it. It's very, very enjoyable work.
Our first step was to preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go do that right now. And next, we need to butterfly the beef, which involves making a perpendicular cut along the V here. And I only want to cut it until it's about 1 inch down to the bottom.
And I'm shredding the parsnips.
I am covering our beef with clear plastic wrap so that I can start pounding it with a mallet. We do this in order to get the meat thin enough so that we can put the vegetables inside of it and wrap it over.
You do that. Get all your anger out. It's all in the flick of the wrist. The blood is beginning to sprout from the wrap.
This is grass-fed beef.
That's grass-fed beef. You can't get any better than that.
Yeah, it's low and fat.
Gibby's got the beat.
So these parsnips that I've just shredded are full of fiber, vitamin C, and folic acid.
These onions came from Angelic Organics as well as the parsnips.
Perfect.
Onions have a strong smell that make you tear up. We're making a double recipe for 2 families, so the recipe calls for 4 cloves, which are the little triangular parts in the garlic. So you just got to cut them out. Nature packs it tight in its wrapping to protect it from weather and bugs. And so once you get the clove out, you have to cut off the end, just like with the onion. And then we are going to place them in this and just squeeze it down into the parsnip bowl. Okay, so what I have done is I have now combined the parsnip, garlic, and onions together in one bowl, and I'm mixing them together because they all have to be cooked in the same pan. They have to be cooked in the bacon grease.
So this bacon is from the farm of a man named Butch, and he lives just 4.8 miles away from us. We need 4 slices for our recipe, so I'm just going to lay those down in the pan here, and I'll put a cover over them, let them heat up, and when they are cooked to a crisp, we'll take them out.
Okay. So, I was wondering, like, what do you feed your pigs?
It's really corn that's ground up, and we put other additives with it. They get fed about 18%, what they call it, the ration, and to make them grow. And fresh water and fresh feed every day. And I usually hand feed them twice a day, morning and night. How many times do you get fed a day?
3.
Oh, okay.
How did you become interested in raising pigs?
Yeah, my daughter got into 4-H, and I kind of liked pigs, and so we had a place for them, and that's what we started doing. And then now I raise pigs myself and sell them to the 4-H kids that show at the fair. And you get attached to them, and then we butcher them and put them in our freezer, sell them to our friends. And we just don't say which one it is.
In your opinion, compare locally grown meat to commercially grown meat, like the taste?
What I raise and eat is a lot better than what you buy at the supermarket. The ones in the supermarket are just out in the Bay Area, and they just get fed until they get big enough to get slaughtered. Ours are hand fed and taken care of, and so don't give them any wrong things, to make them grow and stuff. And it's just a lot better homegrown meat.
Okay. Where do you get the food to feed the pigs?
Well, we raise our own corn, and then we grind it up, and like I said, I go to the mill and buy additives, different fat and stuff like that, and put into it just to make them grow and make it a little bit sweeter so they'll eat more and grow faster. Most pig game, you can average a couple pounds a day weight-wise.
So now that some of the bacon is quite crispy, I'm removing it from the pan, and we're going to then have to crumble it into small pieces and take 2 tablespoons of the excess bacon grease in here to mix in with the vegetables in this pan. Some of the bacon still needs to cook a little longer though, so we're just going to leave that. The bacon grease into the other pan here. So now I am crumbling up the crispy bacon so that we can put it in the meat along with the vegetables to cook.
Okay, so then I'm going to scoop the vegetables into the pan with the bacon grease. Perfect. I'm going to turn it to the heat degree 4 so that they cook. Medium low.
You have to stir them periodically. That's a fascinating smell.
Okay. I am now adding the bacon to the vegetables, and after this is all mixed together, we're going to put it on the beef and cook it in the oven. Now I'm adding the basil in right before we are going to spread the vegetable mixture over the meat. So now I have to spread it evenly across the meat. Some benefits to this meat being from grass-fed beef are that it's much lower in its total fat, as much as up to 100 calories. Also, it's higher in beta-carotene and vitamin E.
Some environmental benefits are the grains and vegetables require 5 to 10 for 1 calorie of food. And the ratio for grain-fed beef is 30 to 1.
It's delicious.